Well, here we are with Game 3. And based on the reactions to a video I posted last night, some of you are with me on this and some have tuned out. And that's okay. These playoffs have been fantastic. And honestly, probably some of the most unpredictable playoffs I've ever seen. So, with Washington coming home, they're up 2-0. It's Tampa. And what people seem to be forgetting is that the Tampa Bay Lightning have been to the conference finals. This is their third time now in 4 years. Anyways, Tampa, yeah, it's 14, 15, 16, and 18. So it's 3 times in 4 years. Tampa's got a lot of experience. So while they're down, and I agree that this doesn't look great for them right now, Washington's home record, if you include the first 2 games of the playoffs, is not fantastic. Now, if you look at those first 2 games of the playoffs against Columbus and you say, well, they had Philip Grubauer and, they weren't playing particularly well, then okay, then you take those two out. But if you look at their whole record, including those first 2 games, it hasn't been great at home. So, that in mind, there's a lot of things to look at with Tampa and be a little bit frightened of if you're a Caps fan. Kucherov sitting with 6 goals and 8 assists. After those 10 points in 5 games that he had in the first round, he's really been kind of quiet. And eventually that's going to turn around, I believe, because, I'm a believer in the law of averages. Stamkos, 5 goals and 8 assists, is right behind him. Stamkos has had a solid round, but again, they're down 2-0. Braden Point, 5 goals and 7 assists. Andre Palat, 5 goals and 4 assists. Victor Hedman with 8 assists. Shots on goal, Kucherov 46, Johnson 33, Stamkos 29. Hits, Callahan leads the way with 40. And Ryan Callahan, if he can come out tonight and assert himself, and if they can take the physical game to Washington a little bit, that'll probably help. But I don't know, Washington's been pretty physical. Paquette, 33 hits, and JT Miller with 29. Ice time. Hedman leads the way with 26 minutes and 13 seconds per game. McDonough, 22 minutes and 11 seconds per game. And then Anton Stralman, 22 minutes and 1 second per game. Turnovers, Stamkos is ahead with a +6. Girardi is behind with a -8. You're always going to see a defenseman with the lowest turnover number. It's just, that's how it works with turnovers. Goalie, Vasilevsky, 2.74 goals against and a .912 save percentage. Really kind of got beat up in the last game, which has really taken his stats from where they were at the start of the series, which was pretty solid, and really sunk them. Even by regular season standards, .912 isn't going to get it done. So if Washington has figured something out with Vasilevsky, which Boston seemed to have figured out after Game 1 against Tampa and then forgot the rest of the series, this series could absolutely be over quickly. But I've learned over the years not to count Tampa out. They're one of those teams, you just can't count them out until they're out. The Washington side of things, Ovechkin, 10 goals and 9 assists. Kuznetsov, 8 goals and 11 assists. Karlsson, 3 goals and 11 assists. Backstrom, 3 goals and 10 assists. And the word from before Game 2 was that if they won Game 2, Backstrom wouldn't play Game 3 either. So as long as they have this lead in the series, Backstrom probably sits out and rests up his hand. Lars Eller, 5 goals and 6 assists. Eller's becoming quite the story for the Capitals, as are guys like Devontae Smith-Pelly, Connolly, Chason even. Shots on goal, Ovechkin leads the way with 57. Kuznetsov's next with 49. And then John Carlson with 48. Hits. Wilson, 47. So he leads the way despite the fact that he was suspended those 3 games. Devontae Smith-Pelly with 45. He's tied with Ovechkin and Orpik. So a lot of hits getting thrown, and Ovechkin's throwing the body quite a bit. So he leads the team in scoring, and he almost leads the team in hits. Everything you want a player to do, Ovechkin can do it. Ice time, Niskanen, 26 minutes and 32 seconds on average. John Carlson's next with 26-16, and Dmitry Orlov, 25-18. I have to throw out there, too, that I was not happy with Orlov's contract at the time it was signed, the extension with Washington. I felt that Orlov was overpaid. I've said some things about Orlov during this regular season about how I didn't feel like he was providing the Capitals with their money's worth. I was 100% wrong. Orlov's having a fantastic playoff, and that contract right now looks like a bargain. Turnovers, Oshie leads the way with a +6, and Carlson, as I said, defensemen will always end up on the negative side of this for the most part. Carlson has a -7. Goaltenders, Holtby 2.04 goals against and a .926 save percentage. He has had a fantastic playoff, and this is one for the ages right now for the Capitals. But again, until they've got 4 wins, I'm not counting this series as being over. The Capitals were up 2-0 on the Columbus Blue Jackets were up 2-0 on Washington, going home for Game 3. Washington won the next 4 games. Tampa has that capability. Ask Boston, ask New Jersey. Tampa has the ability to run off a bunch of games in a row. And when their offense gets going, it can be kind of frightening. I know even in Game 2, at one point it looked like Tampa was getting things on track, and then Washington turned that track right back against them. We'll see if they can do it again tonight. Can Washington beat them in Washington? Of course they can. But Tampa can beat Washington in Tampa. It just didn't happen in the first 2 games. So it'll be interesting and fun to watch this. You guys can let me know who you think is going to win in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.